What's going on, guys? So it's been a while. I've been out of the game for a couple weeks. As you guys may have known from my previous videos that I posted, I had an issue where a pipe burst in my house. I was out of my house for a few months. I am back though. Everything's good to go. My house is finally complete. It's been a nightmare, so I appreciate all my loyal subscribers not dropping. We are back. We're gonna hit this NBA, excuse me, this NBA thing for the last few weeks and then move on to baseball and then football. So, let's jump right into it. I really like the slate tonight. I feel good about the lineup. I have been playing very well lately. I've had a few nights where I've hit 320. I've been averaging anywhere from between 270 to 290 most nights. Of course, I think all of us have had some bad nights where we hit around 240, 250. But those are few and far between. I've been really stepping up my NBA game. Big shout out to Cam ATL. He's another guy that does lineups. His high fives are usually fire. Um, so yeah, check him out. It's Cam ATL. He's got Twitter, YouTube, great videos, awesome guy. So big shout out to him. I'm just going to go ahead and throw my video out there, give you my opinion of what I think is going to hit tonight, and let's jump right into it. So first and foremost, we've got some chalk on the field this week, or tonight, I'm sorry. Obviously, James Harden, Antetokounmpo, the Greek, John Wall, Isaiah Thomas, Irving, Walker. So we got some really good point guard positions that we can fill with. Tonight, I think you're pretty much a lock to go with someone like James Harden. So they're playing New Orleans. New Orleans is definitely going to be stronger down low than they are up top. Harden is an amazing three-point shooter. Over the last 10 games, he's been putting up phenomenal numbers, 72, 73, 83. If you see, he put up 83 a few nights back against New Orleans. I don't see any reason why he's not going to do this. And this time they're at Houston. Last time they're at New Orleans. Harden doesn't get affected by road or home games too much. He'll play good on the road or at home. So I really suspect Harden tonight. He'll probably be a little higher owned. And I do build for GPP, so I'll go ahead and throw that out there for any new guys that are checking this out or girls. Anyways, but yeah, Harden tonight I think is a lock. He's an amazing, phenomenal basketball player. He does not like rest nights. He does not take time off unless he's hurt, which I respect. But yeah, overall, I mean, if you look at his field goal percentage, I mean, he's an amazing shooter. He does pretty good from the three-point line as well. Now, the one thing I will say about Harden is when the game is close and they need to make clutch plays, Harden will come through. So you can usually expect him to follow through 4 quarters, unless it's a blowout, which I don't suspect it to be a huge blowout in the New Orleans Houston game. Excuse me. So yeah, we're definitely going to lock in James Harden tonight as our must-play chalk of the night. So moving into shooting guard, there's a lot of players I really like at shooting guard. I will say Jimmy Butler is definitely among the top. He's been playing lights out, and we will touch on him in the small forward position. Bradley Beal, I just don't feel that he's on his game right now. You look at the last few nights, he had one good night. What was it, last night? And then, I'm sorry, 2 nights ago. But then 24, 29, 29. I mean, we want to go 6X, right? So we're going to want 45 plus out of him. And really, other than 2 nights ago, he's been putting up around 30, maybe 40. So that's just not enough. I don't see the value there. Maybe when he starts jumping up in that 45-point range for a couple nights, or he drops in price. Right now, I think he's just way too overpriced. Devin Booker, I really like this Phoenix-Boston game. I think is going to be a shootout. I think the points will go pretty high on that one. I do have a lot of lineups that I will be stacking the Phoenix-Boston game around. So I would definitely say this is definitely a player I would consider putting in there. But we're not going to run with Devin Booker. We're actually going to go with Gary Harris. So Harris has been playing phenomenal. His price is still very low, $6,500. You see what he did. Let's see. Let's pull up this 10-game log. So 32 points 2 nights ago, 42, 31, 31. So realistically, he's averaging right around 5x value with the possible upside to go 7x. So consistent player. He's not going to be your 50-point guy. Now, I'm not saying he can't have a night where he puts up those kind of numbers. In the Denver and Indiana game, Denver has been playing really good offensively. Indiana's defense has stepped up lately, but I don't think that's going to affect Gary Harris. I think he's still going to ball out tonight. I suspect him to get somewhere around 35 points tonight, so I'm definitely rolling with Gary Harris. Next up, like I said, we are going to circle back to Butler, and Butler is definitely a must play for me. So he's been playing lights out lately. You look at him; he played 2 nights ago, 45 points against Detroit, 67 against Toronto, 47 against Utah, 47 against Washington. Now at 9,200, we'll call it 9,000 to make it easy. We want 45 points for 5x. We're going 6x, so we'd like 50 points out of him. He definitely has that upside to get you 50 plus. He got 56 against Charlotte. He got 67 against Toronto. So he does have that GPP upside that you look for to get you that 6, 7, 8x value if need be. So I would definitely say Jimmy Butler is a huge play tonight. Going against Philly, Philly is a fast-paced offense. Not the best in defense, but they're definitely going to be shooting the ball a lot, which means Jimmy Butler is going to have to respond. Chicago does have some decent shooters, but no one is as good as Jimmy Butler. So I suspect him to have a really phenomenal night tonight. So we're definitely locking in Jimmy Butler. Next up, we're going with a little more value play at the power forward position, and I'm actually going to roll with Dudley. So Dudley oftentimes is a dud, I'm not going to lie. But as of late, he's been playing really good basketball. So he did have a slump there for a while. About a week ago, he played a few bad games. And then last night against Brooklyn, he had a subpar night. 16 points, which was still, over 5x value. At $3,000, I don't expect 40 points out of Dudley. If he can get us between 15 and 20 points, I'm happy. That's 5, 6x value. If he can get us in the upwards of 25 points, that's even better. He is averaging around 20 so minutes a night, which is pretty decent. If he gets about a point a minute, do the math. That's pretty good numbers. So Jared Dudley is going to be one of my sleeper GPP picks for tonight. I don't suspect his ownership to be high. No one really rides him too much. But that Phoenix-Boston game, like I said, is going to be a really good game. And I'm definitely going to have some exposure to that. I would say if you were going to look at lineups to build around, I like the Philly-Chicago game. I like the Phoenix-Boston game. That's what I'm going to build most of my lineups around tonight, as you'll see from this one. I am going to run a few variations of my lineup. So if you're interested in knowing a couple other players that aren't in this video that I'm also running, by all means, hit me up, DM me or whatever. I'll be happy to give you those picks as well. I do play GPP, and oftentimes I do take some big risks. Last night I played, who was it that I played? I'm drawing a blank, but he was $3,000 and went for 25 points. Nobody really was on him. He was at 1% owned, I think. So those are the kind of guys I look for. I look for those really deep value guys that are going to be 1% or less ownership that can get me that 6, 7x value. So if the rest of your lineup does go off, you're in good shape. You're going to hit. You're going to make that money. So I generally run smaller GPPs, the $1 to $2 entries, not the huge, massive prize pools where you have to deal with a lot of sharks. So oftentimes in those tournaments on a normal night, 275 in GPP will hit you in the money. Now you can run these in cash games, but I would not suggest running guys like Dudley in a cash game. It's just way too risky. So let's move on to the center position. So for the center position tonight, I am actually going to be rolling with a value. Now tonight I'm actually running 2 value centers. I'll touch on the other one here at the end in the utility position, but I'm rolling with Alex Len tonight. So Len has been playing phenomenal basketball. 35 points last night, 33 2 nights before, 21 on the 19th, 32. The guy is $4,500, okay? So realistically, if we can get 6x value out of him at 4,500, which is easily feasible, 25 points will get us roughly 6x value. That's great. I'm good with that. 35 points is easily doable in this fast-paced game between Boston and Phoenix. 35, 33, 21, 32, 19, 19, 30. So not even being a starter, he's putting up phenomenal numbers. 25, 36, 21, 28 minutes. Alex Len, if you look at his numbers, he looks like a starter, even though he's not. So he's coming off the bench most nights, unless Williams is out. But Alex Len at 4,500 is way too underpriced for the value that he brings. And in a GPP, his ownership should stay pretty low. Now, after last night's game, I'm sure a few people will be on him more than usual, but I still expect him to be fairly low owned, which does suit well for GPP. So, um, and then going into the shooting guard position, or I'm sorry, the forward position. Let's see here. So we're going to run with Marquise Chris. Sorry, checking my notes here. Don't want to give you guys the wrong information. So, anyways, Marquise Chris been playing phenomenal basketball. Again, Phoenix, Boston. I'm stacking a lot around this game. So Phoenix, Boston, Philly, Chicago are the two games that I'm really focusing my attention on. But anyways, Marquise Chris, 45.25 points last night, 34 before that, 26, 31. He's just shy of 6,000, so 30 points gets you 5x. We're going for 35 points. We want to shoot for 6x value. We want all the monies, okay? So 6x, 35 points. Is that feasible? Absolutely. So this is going to be a high-paced game. I mean, 30 points I think is easily doable for Marquise Chris. 35, 40 points I think is his upside tonight. I suspect he's probably going to push closer to 40, 45 points. That's my suspicion. We'll see how that turns out. But, I mean, Boston lights out basketball lately. They're very fast paced. Phoenix responds to that. Very lights out, fast paced basketball. So I would say Marquise Chris is a lock tonight to play at the forward position. At the guard, we're actually going to run with another sleeper. Now, I will say a lot of people have not been on him as of late. Not sure why, but he's been playing great. He's averaging around 30, 35 minutes or so over the last few nights. 23, 34, 28, 25 points at 4,200 bucks. Do the math. I think he's up for a big 6x plus night tonight. Nick Stauskas playing for Philly, I think is a must play. Great value. Now you'll see I only went with one $3,000 guy. I generally stay above the 4K range and up with my lineups. Depending on the night, if it's kind of a short slate, there's not a lot of players to choose from. I want to keep my ownership, low on players. I will take a little more risk and go with a lot more. I would say a few more $300 to $3,500 players to give myself some separation, which I did the other night and it paid off. I hit 299 and I finished in like 400th place out of like 40,000 in a tournament. So I did really well. So I would say on a bigger slate, 10 games, that kind of scale, I would say you don't need to go too deep, too many players. Keep it pretty balanced. 4K and up is pretty much a good rule of thumb. So I would say Nick Stauskas is definitely a must play. And then at the utility position, like I said, we're going to run with another center tonight, and we're going with Robin Lopez. So he is coming back from his suspension of a game. He's going to want to prove to everybody that he's back. I suspect this to have a huge narrative, almost like a revenge narrative, I guess you could say, with him trying to shut everybody down. Robin Lopez is not your Draymond Green, your Drummonds, right? He's not that kind of center, but he is very physical. He's a big guy. He can definitely rebound. His shooting percentage is very good. I mean, 5 for 8 2 nights ago, 6 for 12, 12 for 16, 4 for 7. So when he gets the opportunities to take shots, he definitely capitalizes on them. Pretty decent rebounder. He had 12 rebounds against Washington. I don't suspect he'll have quite as many rebounds tonight. I think Philly-Chicago is going to be a scoring shootout, so I think it's going to really come down to points. But at 4,200 bucks, I think tonight he's easily good for 25 points or more, which put him in the 6X category at $4,200. He's a must-play for me. His ownership will probably stay pretty low as well. There's quite a bit of chalk up at the higher end for centers and other positions, so I think a lot of the attention is going to be probably in the 6K and up range. 6 to 8K, there's quite a bit of people to choose from on this slate. So I don't suspect a lot of these players that we've chosen tonight are going to have too high ownership, except maybe Harden and maybe Butler, because he's coming off two pretty good nights. So anyway, so running back through this lineup, we got James Harden, Gary Harris, Jimmy Butler, Jared Dudley, Alex Len, Marquise Chris, Nick Stauskas, and Robin Lopez. That's my lineup tonight, guys. This is for the main slate of games. This is GPP, so I do not advise that you run this in a cash game. If you want to, go for it. If it hits big, you're going to be all right. But it is high risk. Like you can see, there's a lot of value guys in here, not a lot of chalky guys. So But the rule of thumb is when you build a lineup, don't just focus on the chalk, the big guys, right? If all your players, and you spend 50K or around 50K, and your players all go for 6x or more, or even 5x and more, you're looking at a 300 plus night, right? 300 plus night is going to cash no matter what you do. Cash, GPP, 50-50s, whatever you play, you're going to do fine. And so I would say go ahead and lock this in. If you like this video, smash the like button, comment, subscribe. Go check out my boy Cam ATL. The dude's legit. He's helped me tremendously over this season of NBA. As many of you know, I primarily focus on NFL, but since connecting with Cam, I mean, my game's gone to another level. So I would say go check him out, but also smash this like button, comment, subscribe. And if you're not already subscribed, subscribe and hit that little bell. Check the notifications so when I put these videos out, you can lock them in early. Generally, I'll put out full lineups. If I feel that, it's a small slate, I don't want everyone sharing the same lineup, I may give you a select few people that I'm building my lineups around and then go from there. But most cases, I'll throw out a lineup, maybe two, for you to go out and run or tweak or whatever you want to do. So, again, I appreciate the support, guys. Hope everyone makes a lot of money tonight. Let's hit that 300 club and continue this. All right.